Bayonets are super powerful in Code Vein 2, and I'm going to be showing you one of the most overpowered builds in the game here using some bayonets. This is the grenade launcher, and it's pretty crazy because you can also just launch grenades just like that, and you also got a ton of skills here that have some great mobility if you need to get away from enemies, and then you can just chunk away at their health with the grenades, which will end up staggering bosses. So you got a lot of very powerful options, and against bosses we have this attack here, which can hit in a large area of effect, but the damage from this build is next level. There are a lot of different bayonets in the game between 3 different categories. Some are going to shoot grenades like the grenade launcher, some are going to shoot shotgun shells like the silver shot here, and some shoot rifle bullets like the sunset bayonet. Now, I'm going to show you where to get these two, which I think are two of the better ones. The silver shot is a shotgun that you get really early on in the game, and this one is literally on the starting island here. You're just going to come over to the minion that's just right here, and you can purchase that one from them. And then for the grenade launcher, it's actually up at the very top of the map at this minion here, and these are two that I'd wait to get at the very start of the game. You can get the shotgun, but honestly, later on, whenever you can make your way up to the northern section after beating Jose, I'd recommend grabbing this one. Now, they're all going to deal crashing damage whenever you do your explosions, except for the Alfheim one, which you can find later on, does piercing damage. But the silver shot is really powerful early on in the game and has a lot of different skills, which we'll cover a little bit later. So you're going to be using this one for a lot of the game, and it scales off of strength and dexterity, which is great. The grenade launcher, however, has a stronger strength scaling, so we want to get our stats high in strength. Now, the fast move set differs between the different weapons here. The silver shot has a quicker move set here with multiple swings, and the grenade launcher is a lot slower, but it hits a much heavier attack. And ones like the sunset bayonet have this weird attack where they attack backwards. Most of the bayonets have this moveset, which is also pretty quick, but the silver shot comes out a bit quicker. I also want to mention the Alfheim, which is actually a really fun weapon. It's more so a willpower style build, but this one has a quicker moveset with an extra attack chained into it, and the beam attack that comes from this is really cool. This uses rifle bullets, however, so yeah, it's actually pretty sweet. But the grenade launcher is just so good whenever you're able to get it because, yeah, as you can see there, one shot's like a lot of things. But even without using the skills, it does have really high scaling on strength. So whenever we use our Icar for skills, you can see there, it actually hits extremely hard. And with the mobility that you got from this thing, it's nuts. The grenade launcher is very powerful. And that takes us to our blood code. This is a tough one because until you get later on in the game, you're going to likely have a slow dodge, but once you get to Lou's Bloodline 4, you can actually get a quick dodge off with a grenade launcher, and that's pretty insane. So I would recommend doing that because with a bayonet, you're going to be kind of easy to hit, so having a faster dodge is extremely useful. I don't have any other ones that are going to give me this luxury, but one that I do want to mention is the one-armed hero Lyle. This has the highest strength score, which will give us a pretty big boost to our damage. But since Lou is kind of balanced between strength and dexterity, this one can work very well. And what's great about this is we have no overburden effect, so we get charged drain attacks will inflict slow buildup. We also have the Mind Margin 10, which gives guard stamina cost down if you like to use your guard shields. And then the Mind Margin 14, which we also have, gives us attack power briefly up after a drain attack. So we get a nice attack boost, and if we do a charge drain attack, we'll also get slow build up on the enemy. And with the one-arm hero Lyle, you can actually get the overburden effect on your mind there, because it's pretty easy to get that over the overburden amount. And I do want to mention that Noah's Bloodline actually can work decently well. It's not going to have as much damage as some of the other ones here, but we are able to, with this setup, get the Dex and Strength Margin 5 so that we can get increased attack power with consecutive hits. And since we're mobile, we'll actually keep that up. But my personal preference is going with Lou or the one-armed hero Lyle. Actually, Hero Holly can work in a pinch, but the Lou or Hero Lyle are the best. I also want to mention Jose's Bloodline, especially if you can get this up higher. Like Jose 3 would be really good, but I'm stuck with the Jose 2 at the current moment. But Lou's Bloodline ends up being very strong. And we can also pair this with the offensive Formae, the Blood Reaver Blade. This is insane. The damage that this thing does is just next level. It's probably going to get nerfed at some point. We could also use the Absolute Executioner if using the one-armed hero Lyle, because it's going to buff this one up. But the Blood Reaver Blade is by far the best choice to go with. And I wouldn't recommend the longbow because we already have ranged attacks that are better than this. So it's honestly the Blood Reaver Blade. And for the Blood Reaver Blade, you have to let it go whenever it flashes there. And I didn't even do it and I was able to one-shot that enemy. The damage from this thing is crazy. Yeah, that ended up missing, but you're going to wait for that second flash and let it go. And it will one-shot a lot of things. And the damage on bosses is crazy. You can like take out like a third of some boss's health. And for our defensive Formae, now you can just use the regular bleeding shield here. This one is good enough. The Munis Bracer is great as well. If you like a parry style gameplay, this would be the best. Not everyone likes parrying. And since we got that quick dodge, you don't need a parry since our dodge is so good. And we also have dodges in our moveset, which we'll get to. Alternatively, you can put on the Vanishing Light Hollow, which gives us another type of dash. putting us up into the air, but I honestly just think that the bleeding light shield or the munis bracer are best. And with the munis bracer, we can't get the quick dodge, so I'm just gonna leave it as this. Now, what would be one of the most important parts to this build is bat. Bat is so good because we can get our Ichor back from range. Charging it up will let us do it over time as well, and this gives us another mobility tool, which is nice to have. You can go with Ogre or Stinger, which is a little bit easier to land, but honestly, Bat is just so crazy powerful in this game, so use it. It's going to give us that Ichor back, which lets us spam our skills and keep us from spamming our grenades and our rifle bullets or shotgun shells. And you can see here that, oh, I'm getting attacked. So we're going to use Bat on this enemy here that doesn't have any blood, so that didn't actually hit a shield here. Basically, what you want to do with Bat is get some blood off on the enemy, and then you can go ahead with it. And you can also do a charge version of it here. He's going to shield like an annoying person, and whenever you use this, it's basically whenever they don't. There we go. We got some of our blood back. So yeah, the damage and the recovery from this is so great. And the reason we want to use that is that we can go ahead with our other skills here and use those a little bit more frequently. And what's great about it is it also functions as a somewhat of a dodge too, so you can get out of the way of some attacks there. And then we get that bleed over time, which is so nice because then we can just jump away with our other attacks. And best boosters. Now, you got to be mindful of losing your dodge effectiveness here. So having a strength +2 keeps us right where we want to be. I actually have to have this equipped or else we go over the threshold for the quick dodge. So that is one useful one. Dexterity is nice too for the extra damage that you can deal. But if I equip that, it's going to burden me. So I'm not going with that. And also got a willpower increase there. The sprint stamina cost down, which is really nice. You're running around a lot, which you will be with a gun. And max stamina up. These work well. However, there's one for a Bayonet mastery, which is obviously very good. This one does increase the dex scaling, which loses our quick dodge. So if you want more damage, you do lose it on the defensive properties. But this one obviously is really nice. I also want to mention the Devotion, which will increase the Blood Reaver Blade. This one also increases our strength and dexterity, which will put us at a slow dodge, so I don't love it. And then there's also max ammo up, which will also overload our dexterity by 6, making this another one where we get a medium dodge. If you like the medium dodges, these three work really well. I'm just rolling with this setup so that I can have the quick dodge to make sure that we get out of combat when we need to and fire away when we gotta. And for the weapon skills, Heavenly Strike is actually extremely powerful. This one comes on the grenade launcher. Why this is so good is that if you're fighting a large boss, kind of similar to an Elden Ring, large bosses get hit with multi-hit attacks like this and just completely lose their health. So this has lower damage per shot than something like the Fusillade Rondo here, but if you're able to land every shot on this, it's going to outpace all the other damage options here. So really good, and you can also find this skill as well in the overworld, but it comes stock on the grenade launcher. Fusillade Rondo is just the best skill here. This is going to be our main option for damage. It only has a 3 Ichor cost, so it's actually very effective at not draining your Ichor and allowing you to keep it sustained. On top of all of this, it also gives you a bit of mobility too, and you can continually keep spamming this to get an extra attack off on it. I also have the Heartbreaker here, which will temporarily increase our stagger attack power, which is kind of nice. You can easily enough swap this out for something like Overdrive, which will boost our attack value, which is really nice. With a 2 Ichor cost, this can be really good, and it lasts a long time. This thing scales crazy well. Flashing Fang is an okay choice to power up our next attack. There's a lot that'll power up our attacks or power up our bleed factor, which are okay. You can even put some elemental damages on it, like Venom Mark, but I honestly think that the mobility that we're getting from Drawback Shot and Fusillade Rondo is amazing. Heavenly Strike just gives us a larger area of effect attack. The only thing I'd swap out is Heartbreaker for putting on like the increased adrenaline for more damage, but other than that, I think that this setup works really well. Drawback Shock actually being really useful if you can kind of panic press this to get away from the boss and then use Fusillade Rondo. These kind of chain together very well. And then if the boss is coming at you, you need to stagger them, you can shoot a grenade at them. But yeah, the Fusillade Rondo is going to be our main source of damage because you see there, it just deletes everyone. You want to open with that instead of opening with a grenade launcher shell because we're trying to save our ammo as much as possible. Every time you go to a merchant, make sure that you buy them out because you need a lot of these. And you can see here, if we use a Heavenly Strike, it is a little bit harder to land there because of that wind-up time, but we can easily enough get away from enemies using that skill there. But if you're able to sneak up on someone and you can use the Heavenly Strike, it can sometimes be nice, especially if they're staying in place. You can see there, we actually got some pretty solid damage off. But we have so much mobility with this setup, and then that's not even accounting for the grenades that we can shoot. The thing is with this build, as long as you're able to get your Ichor off, you're going to have an insane amount of health, and you can always just drop it off at the end there, so yeah. And then the Blade's moveset is really good. It actually hits very hard here, especially that grenade launcher. And I love the stab attack, giving us some extra range. But yeah, save your grenade shells for going against any type of enemy that you need to do get a stagger off on. And then you also got your jumping beams here to give you some extra mobility to get away from enemies. You got a lot of skills here that can help out with a variety of bosses and different encounters that you may find yourself in. So yeah, Fusillade Rondo to start off, grenades when you need a stagger, jumping attack for mobility, and that is an overpowered bayonet build in Code Vein 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, hit the subscribe button below if you found this video useful, and we'll catch you all in the next video.